Recently, we went to a nutritional store here in San Diego to see if we could do a collaboration or maybe if we could approach them about carrying some of our products, namely the High Vitality Liquid and the High Vitality Liquid Gel Caps. And I went in with my normal spiel of we have one of the highest potency liquid vitamins and or one of the highest potency liquid gel capsules. And I was met with the reply of, let me see, take a look at it, took a look at the capsules and said, and the manager there said, I have a multivitamin that is higher in potency than this. So I disagree with your statement. So I said, well, what is the brand? And he rattled off brands that were in a capsule form, but were not in a liquid. So here to clarify what he was getting at is Dr. Whiting to kind of explain how capsule multivitamins can sometimes be higher potency than the high vitality liquid multivitamin gel capsules.
A couple of things need, I think, to be clarified for better understanding.
Okay.
First of all, let's talk about the various delivery systems that are available. The worst and oldest are tablets, hard compressed tablets, very, very difficult to break down, especially if you're over 40 years of age. Now, there are ways to make tablets more bioavailable, but most companies are not generally doing that. And this was evidenced many years ago by the fact that any septic tank pumping company would tell you that when they pumped rural septic tanks, they were full of these tablets that hadn't even begun to break down yet. So you're obviously not getting very much nutrient benefit from those. The next then is capsules. Capsules were a revolution because they increased absorption. Because the capsule is thin, gelatin, it breaks down relatively quickly. Capsules are ideal for targeted products such as those designed for specific uses. Then we have liquids. And liquids by far and above have been shown repeatedly to be the highest absorbable form of delivery for nutrients. And the problem for many, many years was that you couldn't get, science couldn't get an adequate amount of potency in a liquid because it was too unstable. Because whenever you add chemicals, which are nutrients, to water, they become very unstable. And so liquid supplements were very difficult to achieve any potency with. Since that time, I have been able to greatly solve that problem through stability issues, through enteric coating, and a variety of other little tricks of the trade we have. And now we have the highest liquid potency vitamin on the market anywhere in the world. Now, let's go back to what this individual was referring to. He was saying that he was looking at our liquid gel cap, and I'm going to cover that more in a minute. And he's saying, well, I can think of a dozen multivitamins that are more potent than this. So can I.
Yeah.
Because when you put a liquid inside of a capsule, you don't have that much room.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is everything is give and take in the world of chemistry, in the world of life. And what you lose in these super high potencies in our liquid gel cap, you gain in absorption. And absorption is equally important as potency. In fact, so many of these companies put in super high potencies just to create a marketing label. People look at the label and they go, wow, I can't believe this. This is incredible. But what they don't understand is it's not all a game of potency. It's also a game of absorption and a game of ratio and balance.
Exactly.
And so many of these capsule companies are put together by marketers and not by chemists. And that can create a whole host of potential problems. Now, let's go back to our liquid gel caps for a minute. That was a dream of mine for a great long time. And we have finally been able to find a capsule material that will not leak. Can you imagine if you put a liquid inside of a regular capsule? It would last about 20 minutes and it'd be running all over your counter.
Yeah.
So what we had to do was we had to devise a fat-based, not a water-based, a fat-based capsule that will be stable with the liquid inside. And we basically did that with a combination of fatty acids. And this has revolutionized the supplement industry. It's probably the first major improvement in supplement delivery. So now you get an incredible amount of absorption, but you have the convenience of a capsule.
Yeah.
And I've noticed in recent months that other companies with other products are beginning to use this same fat-soluble capsule complex because it is much more stable. It allows them to put liquids in their formulas. One that comes to mind is one for macular degeneration support. And that company has now switched to a fat-soluble enteric-coated capsule. And so I am very satisfied and very happy to have been part of that original development. And so when you consider something, you have to consider all properties. Do you just want potency? The more the better? What a lot of these companies don't tell you, and people don't pay attention when they read labels, they just look down at the label and they go, wow, it's got 8,000% of this and 12,000% of that. But what they fail to realize is looking at the top of that label, it says 6 capsules, 8 capsules, 12 capsules to contain. Now, how many of those capsules are you going to be willing to swallow all day long? Yeah, you can put anything
But
in
the
a formula.
absorption is way down too.
Yeah, you could put anything in a formula, but you can't put everything in a capsule. There's only so much room, no matter who's doing it. And if you're going to put that much stuff in a formula, it's going to take 8 or 10 or more capsules a day to deliver it.
And so the reason that those other multivitamin capsules that are not liquid have such high potencies is because you only absorb a fraction of the nutrients that are listed.
That's correct in many cases, and that is especially true for people over the age of 45 or 50.
Yeah, and opposed to like the high vitality liquid capsules, which enter the bloodstream in sometimes less than 10 minutes, it shows, I mean, I'm sure there are studies and stuff, but it shows that the absorption is there rather than the capsules that are not liquid.
Right. And there are ways of making capsules more absorbable, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
I have worked on that. We use micro-thin encapsulation for our targeted formulas.
Yeah, and the enteric coated part and all that.
And the enteric coating on our stress formula. But keep in mind that it's not just potency. And unfortunately, many of us have fallen into a habit. And that habit is, if a little's good, more's better.
Yeah.
And so more means always better, more. Look, this one has more than this one, therefore this one is better than that one. And that may or may not, in fact, be the case.
You know,
I'm so convinced that our liquid gel caps have a superior bioavailability that I will continue to stand by that formula forever.
yeah. And there, you know, would be maybe neat for another one of our videos is a study about the different delivery systems for liquid versus capsule versus tablet, especially for those over the age of 50. That might be a video we might want to do soon.
Yeah.
And then you brought up the quantity thing. More oftentimes, not just people don't want to take 6 to 12 capsules a day rather than 1 or 2 liquid. Many people have difficult swallowing capsules or tablets, and either or don't like swallowing capsules or tablets. And then if you tell them they got to do 6 or 4 twice a day, they just won't do it. And then that leads to not using the product correctly, leading to the product not being used, leading to the benefits not even starting to enter their lives.
Well, they're getting a fraction of the potency of that product label, because that product label's potency is for 12 capsules or 6 capsules or 8. And if you look at those things, and especially older people, they tend to gag on these capsules, and so they just say, "Oh heck, I'm going to take 2 and that's it," or "I'm going to take 1." And then they're not getting what's on that label. They're getting 1/6 or 1/12 of what's on that label, and they're likely not absorbing it as well anyway if they're over 50 years of age.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I mean, and that's kind of where I should have took the conversation, but it was, you could tell that the conversation wasn't going to go anywhere because of where he was already going. But if you ever find yourself in this kind of conversation with a family member or someone else that is in the know about nutrients, you can keep these things in mind. And not to say that you know more than somebody else, not to say that you're better than somebody else because you have more knowledge about it, but it might be a good conversation piece to bring up as far as the absorption, totality, and the potency. And even getting into the conversation of like isolated nutrients and stuff, but that's probably for another time. So yeah, but if you ever get in a conversation with somebody about our liquid vitamins or our high vitality capsules or our high vitality liquid, keep those in mind. You might educate somebody and allow them a little bit, to give them a little more knowledge than they didn't already have, so they can make a more educated decision. Because as Dr. Whiting says, education, if I could educate the world on what nutrients can do for you, there's no limit to how far you can take your longevity, your energy levels, even the vanity stuff as far as hair, skin, and nails. You could help educate somebody and furthering them on their health journey that you never even thought you'd be a part of. So thank you so much. And I hope you found this video very informative. I know I did, especially about the absorption and the totality and the potency. So thank you.